This is Jeremy back here with Lost Cause Speed Shop. This is my two-door 150. This is the car that started it all for me. And I'll tell you the story about how I came into possession of it, why it's so rough, and why I think it's worth saving. So, back about 15 years ago, roughly, there was a guy in the next town over from where I was living. He had a car collection, and I like going and checking out people's car collections, so I was going through, and I had ended up buying a 1940 Studebaker 5-window Opera Coupe off him, which was really rough. I still have that car. My father and I seem to trade it back and forth, you know, collateral for other projects and whatnot. You'll see it on the channel eventually. And I was walking through, my father bought a 37 two-door humpback sedan, Chevy, off the guy. And I was walking through his collection one day and I saw this car sitting there. It was an old drag racing car. I mean, it was definitely set up for drag racing. It had the torque chains in the engine compartment and all that. You know, mostly complete at the time. And I asked the guy if he'd be willing to sell it to me. And he sold it to me for the same price he sold me the Studebaker, which at the time, I didn't think it was possible to buy a two-door 57 Chevy for that price, but I did. So, this car was not this rough when I got it. It's been neglected, it's been pushed around, it's been left out in the swamp, it's had the crap beat out of it. Not the car's fault. But it's still very restorable. I've already got a new trunk pan for it. I've got to order rockers. I've got to order the floor pan. I've got a quarter panel for it to replace this because when I bought it, this was just self-tapper screwed on a panel there, as you can see from the holes and welds right here. But it's a rare 57 Chevy, because it's a 150 that was ordered through with a V8 and the Larkspur blue color, you know, which wasn't normal. A lot of people, you know, just didn't order them special. So it's a standard. It came in with a V8. It's going to actually be a big block car when I'm done. It probably is going to go back to being the Larkspur blue. And I know she's got a lot of rust, like right down here on both sides. You can see pinholes, which I'm going to try to repair them, but if I can't repair them, I've got a complete replacement roof. I cut the floor out. I probably could have just patched it because it wasn't completely gone. That was my bad, not knowing at the time, you know, that it was still repairable, and I got impatient, and I ended up cutting the whole thing out. Again, that was me not knowing, but I've learned a lot since then. So now, the whole reason this car, this is like the worst condition out of all the cars I own, but it's in my shop so that it can't get any worse than it already is. I mean, like the back window quarter regulators, you know, they all work. Both sides. You know, that's all usable. You just, you know, the window slides, you grease them up, put a quarter window in that, it'll go up and down. I've got the front end sheet metal upstairs for it. Needs a little bit of work right here where the wheel well is rusted off the inner quarter. But again, that's all repairable. There's absolutely no trunk floor left in this thing. That was rotted out long before I got it. It's been pushed around and whatnot, so my fins are all bent and whatnot. But again, it's all sheet metal work. It's all fixable. And it will get fixed. It's sitting on a frame that actually came with a 210 two-door, which is chopped up, and it's a parts vehicle for this. I've got to do a little bit of work right here on the A-pillar. Right here, you know, they typically do rust out right here. And, I mean, you can buy all this. I don't know how it fits, because I've never wanted to spend the money they're asking for the part, but where I've got the other one chopped up, I'll just take this piece off the other one and splice it on, and hopefully I can get away with just doing the skin and not the whole thing. The dash panel in this is in really good condition. Complete dash. All the gauges were there. I've got the actual original steering column to it with the steering wheel. It's actually got the factory radio in it, and there was a cool little tag on this when I bought it. Like a little brass tag from its drag racing days that said, if going over 100 miles an hour, make sure windows are up or it'll blow your back window out. Which I thought was cool. It's going to end up going back in the car. But this one really, it has a sentimental place in my heart, and that's why it will eventually get restored. But for now, it has permanent residence inside the shop where it's out of the weather. I do got to start treating all the rust and whatnot to slow it down, get rid of it and all that. It's already been stripped and in primer once. But, you know, being left outside and neglected for as many years as I allowed it to happen has really taken a toll on it. So, but this one is, it's a special one. Like I said, it's the one that started it all for me, so it will get restored. You know, it is a factory two-door. You know, it wasn't a two-door conversion or anything like that, so I've got that. It's got all its VIN numbers and all that. That's how I know, you know, exactly that, you know, it was a 150 model. It did come through with a V8. It was Larkspur blue according to the dash, the firewall panel. You know, so one of my favorite cars. I love the 150s. Everybody seems to drool and fall in love with the Bel Airs and the 210s. The 150s to me are way better. They were popular with drag racers and whatnot, but I like them just because I like that side trim on them. So I just wanted to show everybody this car because, you know, like I said, this is what started it. The doors aren't in too bad a condition. I've got a second set of doors that came off the 210 that are like mint condition. Trying to think what else here. Oh, he's still got the rear view mirror in it. Yeah. Both sides, the quarter window crank works on both sides. That side was stuck, but it did break loose. So I just got to order a new floor for this and whatnot. And I'll be working on this a little bit here and there periodically throughout things. You know, I'll get wrapped up on stuff in the wagon, get tired of working on the wagon, I'll come work on this or something. So again, you'll see this on and off on the channel as well. You know, just another one of my projects, but this, like I said, this one's one of the worst out of all of them, if not the worst out of all of them, other than the Studebaker. The Studebaker, I don't know if it's savable, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what we're doing with it. So for now, thanks for watching again, and have a good one.